All right, what we're going to do at this point, well, actually, we have one more if I'm reading this correctly. Max Abramson, you're running for president, huh? Max Abramson, Libertarian candidate for president.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I never thought I'd have to recharge my watch before leaving. Sorry, that's why I was late. Remember the old saying, if it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. Economists now sardonically add, if it dies, nationalize it. The very word socialism was once understood to be a system of tyranny and top-down control, but today's Marxist college professors, Hollywood amateurs, the mainstream media, and even our $18,000 per year per student public schools are promoting socialism and many of the same talking points pushed by the Communist Party USA and their website, Huffington Post, Daily Kos, Vox, and other misleading and biased news publications. They lie about the facts themselves, leaving behind forgotten generations of millennials who have to relearn politics, economics, law, foreign policy, and other issues on their own, deprived of the truth of their own country's history by the totalitarian left. Billionaire oligarchs like George Soros, Michael Bloomberg, Bill Ayers, Tom Steyer, and a dozen others now finance the DNC and its rigged primary process, ensuring that the old working-class Democratic Party of classical liberals and social liberals is effectively erased from the ballot box. The truth is that every recession since the 1930s has started under an anti-business majority in Congress, that unemployment rates and tax rates are nearly twice as high on average in areas run by Democrat rhino politicians, that every city, county, and state that's in receivership or is on the verge of bankruptcy is run by Democrats, that 85% of all homicides in America occur in Democrat-run jurisdictions with sanctuary cities, gun controls, and revolving door prisons, that now 3,000 people a day, enough to fill an entire freeway for an hour with moving vans and moving trucks, are now leaving states run by Democrats to escape the corruption, the high taxes, the high crime, the crumbling infrastructure, and the lack of jobs. Every high crime ghetto in America is run by Democrats. None were ghettos before the Democrats took over. A survey of small business owners by the National Small Business Association showed that fewer than 1/5 of small business owners are still Democrat, and that only 1/6 of them, or about 3% of all small business owners, said that the Democrat Party today is responding to their concerns as small business owners, compared with about half for Republicans. The truth is that every country in Latin America was once a thriving, growing free market economy with a burgeoning middle class. Every single one eventually elected socialist majorities that wrecked their economies and left them struggling with public debt, rising inflation, lost property rights, strict gun control, high crime, and high unemployment. Some of these economies recovered and some never will. In Greece, Spain, Venezuela, Britain, and other countries, socialist majorities wrecked their economies one after another. Democrat operatives here are berating all of these young center-left and anti-establishment voters and peace voters to vote against Trump or against Bush or against Romney or whoever the latest nominee is, ignoring that their protectionist, cronyism, big government Democrat politicians then enact Soviet-style urban planning under the guise of smart growth or growth management, Soviet-style gun control, Soviet-style abortion for population control and eugenics, Soviet-style drug policy, Soviet-style nationalization of healthcare, energy, land, state-run rail monopolies, public schools, public utilities, public housing, public buses, and everything else they can shut down or nationalize. Around the country, socialist politicians have shut down farmers, ranchers, loggers, truckers, restaurant owners, manufacturing, small shops, and 92 of the 100 fishing boats in my district alone. If tactical voting, as I've been talking about, seems like a lot of trouble, consider this. Out of 435 House districts around the country, 170 haven't seen a Republican win in over 20 years. 14 safe blue wall states automatically go Democrat for every presidential election cycle, including every other state in New England. Most once went Republican. Of 7,400 legislative seats around the country, about 2,000 never see a Republican victory ever. A Trump re-election guarantees a backlash in 2022 that would wipe out most state legislatures and Republicans in Congress. The national GOP has done endless polling showing that if the GOP went back to its Eisenhower-Coolidge roots of just getting government off your back, being socially libertarian, that it would pick up more seats in the Northeast and out west, along the West coastline, on a platform of just getting government out of your personal life, out of your business, and out of your pocketbook. But the GOP picks up more seats, tactically, in the Bible Belt by promoting socially conservative messaging, candidates, and even prohibitionists. So it's chosen the Southern strategy, abandoning us to Democrats. And yet there were 28 different legislative races in 2016 where libertarian candidates won more than 25% of the vote. One of our candidates won 39% of the vote. The Johnson-Weld ticket in 2016 reached 31% of the vote among independent voters by the September 2016 debates, capitalizing on a three-party approach, using tactical voting, as they call it in Britain, or strategic voting, as they call it in Canada, could result in Republican libertarian majorities in some state legislatures as soon as 2020, where otherwise anti-business tax and spend majorities would be inevitable. In fact, this is the strategy that business-friendly candidates are using in other first-past-the-post countries like Canada and Britain. America needs a socially libertarian backup party for socially liberal and younger areas like college towns and cities, where libertarians are polling best and where Republicans are polling the worst. Tragically, the GOP nationally rarely even talks about civil liberties, civil rights, ending racial profiling, internet privacy, legalizing marijuana, dash cams, more realistic and constitutional immigration enforcement, LGBT rights, workfare, and other issues. Yet in some cities, in some diverse areas and college towns, you've got to have a whole team of local candidates who champion those lesser known issues consistently, or the socialists pick up everything in sight, letting them pour all of their resources into 16 swing voting states and about 90 swing voting House districts. Next time you get the yellow sheet from Coalition from New Hampshire Taxpayers, or if you're looking up the best candidates on libertyballot.com, and please, by the way, always check libertyballot.com before you vote in the September primary. Although there's a bill in, it might move the September primary up to the end of August. We'll have to see what goes on in Concord. You may see libertarian candidates getting the recommendation for a few races here and there. Please support those candidates and ask your friends to do so also. If you have friends living in New York or other New England states, please be sure to remind them to vote Libertarian in the presidential race. We need to stop giving Soros, Bloomberg, and the DNC 240 of the 270 electoral college votes each year for no effort, no campaigning. Greens and progressives are already talking amongst themselves about organizing their own big government coalition using tactical voting. In entrenched Democrat states and districts, vote Libertarian. In swing districts, taxpayers may vote Republican, but in safe Republican districts and states, please consider the Libertarian candidate again, as we don't generate any of that backlash in the midterms. Today, I'm launching my bid for the presidency in order to get this message to the country and millions of conservative, libertarian, and independent voters who understand what we're up against. To bring our troops home, to end this insane war on drugs, to get money, power, and decision-making back down to the local level and back to the people. For those who've been rolled over by corrupt agencies, who face prosecutorial abuse, who've had their land taken by overzealous regulators and land use boards, and for all those who've grown tired of seeing government ruining people's lives, come and give us your help. Thank you.
All right.
Crop tape.